Hello, everyone. I'm Baril at NodeSource, and today I am with Bryce. He's Node.js expert, and we're going to talk about a little bit about AI and Node.js and all the new cool things that are coming to NSolid. So, welcome, Bryce. It's great to have you here.
Thanks for having me. It's great to be here.
Well, I have a few questions for you. My first question is, how are we using AI to help customers in NSolid?
Yeah, absolutely. So about a year ago, we introduced what we call our Copilot feature into the product. And what it does is it really helps with interpretation of all of the data and results that we pull because we pull so many different types of metrics and diagnostics types that we find that well, having the AI look through it first provides a very quick ability to identify and resolve issues um, at the lower end or before or really as they come in to the users.
Awesome. So, well, this is an invitation for everybody to use NSolid and Copilot. My next question will be, how does NSolid generate actionable recommendations from performance data? What it makes different from traditional profiling tools?
So basically, it's entirely set around production data. So what it does is as we gather all of this rich data around performance and security of your application, we take that and we pull that into our AI service, which analyzes that data to generate all of these reports. Within about a minute, depending on the type of asset, you can actually find actionable data directly from some of our diagnostic tools. Uh, it's it really provides a lot of tool for people, advantage for people who um, aren't really familiar with all of the different types of assets and metrics we collect, and so it gives them a first look and a first distillation of that tool of the data.
Cool. Yes, having actionable recommendations make all the difference when you're doing profiling and when you're analyzing tools. So thank you. And
Yeah,
how does Sentinel help analyze CPU profiles? Could you walk me through how it works and what kind of insights it provides for developers?
absolutely. So basically, you can think of a CPU profile as a lot of text, which is exactly what uh, these AIs are good at analyzing. And so what it's able to do is sift through all of the profile and pull out all of the important bits in the same way that you would analyze it yourself manually, but instead of having to look through and piece through all the things, it's really good at just giving you an immediate snapshot of those results and some immediate recommendations. And I'm happy to do a demo of this a little bit, on the call a little later.
That's great. Yes, because CPU profiles can be a little bit complex to analyze with all these tags and colors, and but if we have like actionable things and just like a summarize, it could be like very helpful for everybody. So
Exactly. Yeah.
I really want to see the demo. So my next question would be, I heard there's a new feature coming that it pulls additional metrics during profiling. How does that improve the AI's ability to analyze performance issues?
Absolutely. So this is something that we're finding just really experimenting with and finding a lot of interesting data with. So essentially, you can think of most CPU profiles as simply just a CPU profile. It's just you start it, it collects data about your synchronous operations, and then it's over, and then you can analyze the data. But one of the things that we have, because we're an entire observability platform, is we have a lot of other data that we can combine with the CPU profile. So what we're doing now is during the analysis step, we pull all of the other assets that we have during that time frame. So we can pull all the metrics, we can pull trace data if we have it, security data, and we can combine all of these things with the profile to give additional context. For example, if the machine is heavily overloaded, the CPU profile won't necessarily show that that's why it looks how it is, but we can tell because of the metrics that the machine is overloaded, and that's why there's a certain type of, blocking time or idle time, even though we don't expect it.
Oh, I see. Talking about additional metrics, my next question would be, there is an option to upload or link code for AI-driven analysis. How does that work? Like, what kind of recommendation can developers get from it?
Yeah, absolutely. So if the analysis finds a very significantly statistical problem, where it says, yeah, I'm pretty sure that this particular function has an issue with it. It will actually allow you to upload the code that was being analyzed during the profile, and it can look at that, and then based on the stacks and observations it has from all of the data that we collect, it can actually suggest alternate changes or alternate versions of your code that you could pull in and test and see if it improves the results. So it can actually suggest improvements based on all of this data if you provide the code.
That's very cool. And with AI suggesting optimizations, as you said, how reliable are these recommendations in real world testing? Because are they usually aligned with what an experienced engineer would suggest, or they're like complete different?
Yeah, absolutely. So our analysis has been really positive. The quality of the recommendations from nSentinel and all of these AI reports have been actually quite impressive. What we see is that as these AI platforms that we use improve, the the results just keep improving. And so we have we have sort of two things going on. One is we're adding more data and more context and improving the feature, which is getting better insights, but also the AI platforms are simultaneously improving the power of these tools. And so it's like every time that I do these analyses, they just seem to get better and better because we have two separate groups working to improve the outputs of this. It's great.
Wow, I really want to see it. How do you see AI changing the way developers can approach performance debugging? Could it eventually replace traditional manual profiling techniques? I mean, we're all scared about AI replacing everything. So, what would you say about this?
No, so I don't think so. What I see this as is, if you've ever done detailed research on production issues, it's a lot of trying to figure out what data to look up and where it is and how to combine all of these things to sort of piece together that answer. And so what I see this doing is a whole lot of that data collection and comparison that you do, that's just like the busy work part of the analysis, because it's really what you're doing is you're collecting a lot of information to tell you where to look and what to really focus on. And but in the end, it's going to be your brain that really solves the problem. We might be able to give you suggestions, but it's going to be you that's going to take that suggestion and find the right way to implement the suggestions, the right way to make sure that it satisfies all of your business requirements and that sort of thing. So it's never gonna cut you on the loop. It's simply gonna just make your job easier, is the way I see it.
Yeah, I think we should adapt and make it easier for us. What kind of feedback have you received from developers using NSolid's AI-powered diagnostics?
Yeah, so it's been really positive. We've it's been an unlimited rollout in terms of me helping customers try these tools out, but I'm excited to roll it out further and see what more people are using. But from what we've seen so far, it's been very positive. I think that in general, anybody who looks at these results is sort of surprised by the accuracy of the results in terms of saving some analysis time and giving them uh, a few steps in the right direction versus having to just get there themselves.
That's very cool. How is NodeSource thinking about security with AI? Because this is always something that it needs to be taken into account. So I'm just wondering, what are you doing about this?
So in terms of security, we take security very seriously. It's something that we've always taken very seriously, given that we store customer metrics and customer diagnostic data. And so we've always been very careful about storage and firewalling data from, between customers and not storing anything that shouldn't be stored on our servers.
Yeah, very cool. And my last question for you will be, what's the next AI-driven profiling in NSolid? Are there any future plans to make it even smarter or more effective?
Absolutely. So we have quite a few plans. It's one of these things where once you start putting, plugging different things together, it gives you all sorts of new ideas of how to plug the data together. So a few things, without giving away too much, a few things we're looking at are the ability for the different profiles to be compared to each other, um, or have data extracted automatically by the agent in terms of it sees that perhaps there should be, that there's something going on and maybe we should collect some diagnostic assets. We're trying to look towards giving it the ability to do some more things on its own, as opposed to only doing these requests when you identify a problem, but letting it hopefully identify problems as well.
That's very cool. So now the moment that we all been expecting, can you show us a little bit demo how it works and the most important features so everybody can get an idea of what's coming and what we have already so they can start using it?
Yeah, absolutely. So let me turn on screen sharing. I wanted to show you the status of the Insolid Sentinel feature inside of our console. So here I have a process that's just a simple worker and a simple application that I'm gonna start a CPU profile, and we'll go over here and just run some load through this worker. So now we can see our profile. If we want, we can view the flame graph and narrow in on things there. We can look at the table to look at self time versus total time or the functions. But what I wanted to show you today is our AI tooling and what we call the Sentinel. So first what it's doing is just going through and vectorizing the profile and then processing this profile data to see if there's anything it can find, doing the analysis. And now it's actually going and fetching other metrics and other content from our other data APIs and observability metrics that we collect to see if there's any other relevant information. And finally, it's going to do the analysis with all of that collected data. And here it says that there's this function called generate pattern that it seems to think that there's a problem with. And what we have the option to do is upload that code to the Sentinel and let it analyze that code in the context of all of this data that it's collected. And soon we should get a finished report combining the code, the profile data, the metrics, and any other data that it thought relevant based on all of the metrics and trace data and all the other things that we collect. And so here we can see it's starting to write out our results. I'm going to avoid scrolling just so it doesn't bounce around. All right. So if we just read the conclusion first, we can see that it found this called the generate pattern function, which is a critical component of the Fastify request handling process. So we know that we're a Fastify application, and this is the function that's it found most relevant. Significant high self time and high frequency. So this is the focal point. And so it actually provided here an optimized version of this code that I can copy and put into my own editor and test and see if it's in fact an improvement. I can reload it and rerun the same test and see if it how it feels about the results after that. So here we have the results being analyzed. Before the suggestion of the fixes, we've got function generate pattern, high self time, high frequency. Here's the calls trace to get there. It doesn't find that it talks about idle time, talks about garbage collection. It doesn't see these as abnormal for this application. So based on these findings, it said this is a critical bottleneck, this generate pattern, and so that's why it offered to provide an attempt at optimizing the generate pattern function. So hope you can see that this is a pretty interesting use of observability data, and we're finding that it's just super compelling to mix all of the various different pieces of information that we can collect in any given time to to provide just a good amount of context for the AI to work with.
Thank you, Bryce. That was awesome. I invite everybody to start using Copilot and AI and Solid. Thank you very much.
Thank you. It's been great.
Have a good day. Bye.
All right. Bye bye.